Welcome to Comfortably Me Podcast. I am Vanessa Elaine, your new BFF. Tune in every week as I help you peel back the layers and dive deep into relationship talk, finding your inner peace, healing, self-love, and we can't forget about Jesus and lots of Jesus. And if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned and do not forget to subscribe. Welcome. So this is episode number 5. Welcome to Comfortably Me. I am Vanessa Elaine. I'm so excited about this episode. This episode is about growing pains. And baby, if you're in a season or have ever been in a season where you're trying to grow as a person, you know how hard that is. And a couple weeks ago, I posted a video on Instagram how I'm going to change my identity. I'm going to become the woman that God has created me to be. So I knew when I said that and I put that in the atmosphere, I know everything wrong that could have went wrong in my life was going to start to happen, because it's always going to be a negative force that's going to try to hold you back or make you think that you can't accomplish that you can never be that woman or become that person because you're not good enough. But you are. Like, you have to fight through those negative thoughts that you feed yourself. Like, that's that self-sabotaging kind of mindset. That sort of imposter syndrome, making you feel like, no, you don't even belong there. You don't even belong in that body, that mind frame, in that person. You're that person is not in you, but it is. That person is already in you. You just have to be disciplined and consistent and be persistent enough to do the work for you to become that girl, period. So I didn't really write much notes on it because I'm just going to flow. I feel like this is going to be really good. I just want to have open conversation with you all and kind of touch on where I am, because I'm in this space where it's a lot. I can't even put it into words, but I'm going to try my best to put it into words. What this episode is about and what is it focusing on, because this is where I am in my life, where I'm experiencing growing pain. Because when you're growing, that means you're shedding off the old. And shedding off the old is not easy. Dying to your old self is not easy. And then you have to simultaneously pursue that person every day. To become that person, you have to wake up and do what is necessary for you to become that person. Remain in that positive mindset while mourning the old you. No one ever talks about the mourning that you have to go through when you're experiencing growing pain. And that's what the growing pain is all about, because yeah, you're growing. Growth is always good. Growth is always looked at as a positive, but the pain about it, the pain of it all is not easy, and it doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always feel good. And that's the downside about it, that it doesn't always feel good. It's switching your identity. Just imagine that, how much work you have to do, because no one is giving you the blueprint on how to become this person. No one tells you how this person shows up in the world. You have to really use your imagination to create this person. And your imagination, I feel like, is a gift, because as you get older, you become more logical and you don't listen to your imagination as much. So I feel like we deprive it as we get older because we have to think realistically all the time. But your imagination is a gift from God. You literally can make up in your mind what you want to do and pursue it, and it can just flourish. Like, it can become this big thing. Like, this mic that I'm speaking on, someone thought about it, and it was a thought that came into their imagination, and they pursued it until they got it right. So I feel like you becoming this person that you envision in your mind, you have to basically use your imagination to create this person. And I don't want people to look at other people's life. Yeah, you can be influenced, by someone else, but don't try to be someone else. Be authentically you, comfortably you, while probably taking little bits and pieces from what you see, because when you're becoming this person, you can only imagine what this person does on a daily and who this person is. But you create it. No one else is going to create that person for you except for yourself. And when you're switching your identity, it's so hard because you have to break bad habits. And breaking bad habits is not a 1, 2, 3 step. You literally have to shift your mindset and identify that this is something that doesn't serve me anymore, that I have to walk away from it, no matter how much it makes me feel. Because some bad habits make you feel good, but it's not beneficial to your future self, to this person that you're trying to be. Like going out to eat every weekend when you want to be more financially stable. Like, how is that going to work? Yeah, you have a good time when you go out, but your pockets are hurting. Or you drink every other day. Yeah, you might get a sense of relief when you drink, or you feel like you're having a good time, or it helps you numb the pain, or whatever the case may be, why the reason why you drink. But if you want to be somebody with a sober mind and someone who is focused and disciplined, drinking every other day does not serve you. It's not going to serve your future self. So dying and shedding off old habits is not easy. It's not a switch that you can turn on and off. You literally have to make up in your mind that I'm sick and tired of my life looking this way. I'm sick and tired of me feeling this way, and something has to give. You have to be very stern with yourself and very real with yourself. Like, do not sugarcoat it. Because if you sugarcoat with yourself, you will continue to be in the same cycle, and you will never get to be that person that you envision yourself to be, because you're not willing to do the work. You're not willing to stop with the bad habits, to stop doing the things that are not beneficial to your future self. You have to always think about your future self. Okay, if I go and do this, how does this serve me? Would this hurt me 5 years from now, or would this work for me 5 years from now? Would I benefit from this 5 years from now? If you have to put it in that way, in that perspective, for you to kind of think about it logically, then do that. Whatever works. But you really have to be real with yourself. Like, if you need to sit down with somebody like a therapist to make it clear for you as to what is no longer serving you and why you holding on to it, I always say, get to the root of the issue. Because if you don't get to the root of it, you're going to continue to live in cycles. You're going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. And you're never going to understand, why does this keep happening to me? It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. Because if you keep seeing the same thing over and over, God is trying to get your attention. Like, hey, no matter what season you're in, no matter what you try to do, this keeps coming up because you haven't let go of this, or you haven't taken time to get to the root of this. So I'm trying to wake you up to get your attention. Like, hey, we're in this same season again. I need you to do this work, because in order for me to make you into this person, I need to first get rid of this out of you. Because you cannot be that person if this is still living on the inside of you. I need to break this off of you, but I need you to do your part. I'm trying to wake you up, but I need you to do your part. I need you to let me in. I need you to be silent. I need you to be in a quiet place. I need you to stay away from certain people. I need you to remain focused. I need you to start writing down your goals and making a plain strategy on how you're going to accomplish the goal. I need you to be more disciplined. I need you to read my word more. I need you to pray and speak to me more. Yeah, God is calling you. Do not take these things as coincidence, because it's not a coincidence that you keep seeing the same thing happen to you, or you keep feeling the same way, or just similar situations just keep happening. Ask God why. And he'll tell you. He'll reveal it to you. He'll give you a sign. He'll speak to you if you're quiet enough. I don't even know why I'm there, but like I said, everything I do is unto God. Like, not perfect, but willing to do the work and always stay in a place of self-reflection to try to get it right, to try to do the work to become a better person. And you're not becoming a better person or switching your identity to benefit someone else. No, it has to be solely about you and how it makes you feel and what you want to accomplish. Do not put your identity in someone else. Do not change to fit into a certain demographic or a group of people. Do it for you because you want to live this life, an abundant life, a prosperous life, a life of peace, a life of love, a life of righteousness. Do it because you want to live that kind of life. Don't do it because you want to be over here with so-and-so and you want to live this life and you want to be on that type of time. No, it's never going to work out for you. That's not beneficial to your future self. And don't get me wrong, becoming that person has its perks, a lot of perks, might I say. Listen, remember I said it's in your imagination. So you build up who this person is and definitely pray on it, because what you imagine yourself to be, because you don't even know yourself, especially if you haven't went to God and try to be centered and aligned with God's will and purpose for your life, you're never going to know who you are and who you're supposed to become until you get that clear definition of who you are from God. I remember so I started waking up at 5 a.m. now. I remember before I tried to wake up at 5 a.m. and I would go to sleep late, and that's why I could never wake up on a consistent basis. Now I make it my business to go to sleep by 10 o'clock. No later than 11 o'clock, I'm already in bed because I'm going to wake up at 5. I don't care how tired I am. I'm going to wake up at 5. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to go work out at 6:30. I have 4 alarms that wake up in the morning. 5 o'clock, I wake up. 6 o'clock, get ready for the gym. 8 o'clock, you got to be out the door. There's one that rings up at 7, wrap up, just work out. So it's just being intentional. I had to set up that system because I know how hard it is. I have my alarm, is a bedtime thing on your iPhone where it tells you when to go to bed. And it calculates how many hours you're going to get. So I have 7 hours of sleep. So I have to be in bed by 10. At 9 o'clock, it already tells me wind down. That means get ready for bed. That's me being intentional to break that bad habit of waking up late, not being consistent in the gym. Because if I wait till later in the day to go to the gym, 9 out of 10, I'm not going to go. No, I have a better chance of starting my day going to the gym than me ending my day going to the gym, because I don't know how my day is going to end. I might not feel like I just want to eat, cook, and do little things that I have to do around the house or finish up on some work that I didn't finish. So I might get sidetracked and be so busy in that I don't even make it to the gym, or I don't even get a good enough workout. I'll probably do just 30 minutes of cardio. What is that? But when I wake up in the morning, 3 hours before I have to start my actual day, that gives me enough time to pray. That gives me enough time to write in my journal, to reflect, to worship, read my word, and then I go to the gym. Being intentional, because if I say I want to spend more time with God, okay, I can't wait to the end of the day, because remember I said I always have all this stuff going on at the end of the day and I'm so out of energy. Why don't I just start my day with God? So that's why I wake up at 5. So at 6:30, I'm going to make it to the gym, but from 5 to 6:30 or maybe 6:15, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to build my relationship with God. I'm putting that initiative out there. I'm being very intentional about, okay, I got to wake up because this is what I have to do. I already have my books laid out on my couch, which I need to get a better job because that don't even look right. But I have my books laid out on the couch, my journals and everything. So, and I don't stay in my room because I know if I stay in that bed, I'm going to fall asleep. And sometimes I do fall asleep on the couch, but that's after I read my word. And I'm like, okay, God, speak to me. And I do end up sometimes falling asleep because I do end up going to bed at 11:30 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired, but I'm going to get up and still do it, because you have to be dedicated to becoming this new version of yourself. You have to be dedicated to it. You have to want it real bad to become this new person. It's not going to be easy. Listen. And then it feels like you're at war with yourself because a part of you is going to want to remain the same. A part of you is not going to want to do the work. A part of you is going to feel like this is too hard. Is it even worth it? Because you don't know what's on the other side of that. Because it doesn't feel good to do these things. It takes you out of your comfortable place, your complacency. It takes you out of that. So when you're fighting to not be the same, to change, to grow, there's always that part of you is like, I'm better off over here. And you have to fight that. And you know who else you have to fight? The people that are okay with you being that way. The people who don't even see it for themselves. You have to fight through that because, you don't want to seem like you're brand new. You acting different. You don't want to seem like that towards the people you love and that you want in your life. But not everybody's going to understand your journey. And if they don't understand it and they don't respect it, even if they don't understand it, at least they respect it. If they don't respect it, then their time is up. And that is a hard pill to swallow when their time is up. So not only are you mourning your old self, but you're also mourning old relationships with people that no longer serve you, that you didn't see that coming, that you wanted to take them along your journey, but God had other plans. It's devastating because you feel like you're alone. You start to kind of resent this new person that you're trying to be because it's like you have nobody. But one thing about God, I can only imagine. Well, I'm going to take it from me because I don't know what you guys envision when you think about the person you want to become. But I know the person that I envision myself to be is a person who walks into the room. Her energy is felt. So I know somebody like that is going to attract good people. And, there's going to be some bad people, but I know the person I want to become has discernment to know what is for her and what is not. So I know I'm going to attract good people. I'm going to attract people who are like-minded. I'm going to attract people who are about their business. Just know that you won't have a problem making new friends, like-minded friends. Because if you're on this road of change and growing as a person and the people who love you are not respecting it, or they're so quick to say, oh, you acting different, or start mess, okay, I'm sorry, I have to go. This is my boundary. And my boundary is you have no access to me anymore. You cut people's access to you because they don't deserve it. And if you don't, the dangers of holding on to broken relationships or relationships God says, no, this no longer serves you. That will stunt your growth because you're trying to keep it more real with people than you're trying to keep it real with God and yourself. Holding on to broken relationships for the sake of trying to keep it real with people will only stunt your growth because you can't keep it real with God and yourself. So who is more important, them or God? So who are you putting before God? Who are you idolizing? Those people. Think about it. Is it worth it? Because it's never really worth it. Ever. I don't know not one person that benefited from remaining the same because they wanted to keep it real with their homies, with their friends. It always ended badly. So it's either you're going to wake up and understand that this is a part of growing pain, that you're going to have to lose some things, some people. You're going to have to shed some bad habits. You're going to have to shed some old relationships. And that doesn't mean that they're bad people. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That doesn't mean you switched up. You switched up for the better, the betterment of you. And if nobody can respect that, the love was not real. People should be clapping. People that you love should be clapping, applauding you, pushing you to become the best version of yourself. And if they want you to remain the same, then you know that you have outgrown your group. You have outgrown that group. You no longer fit in. And it's better to stand out than to fit in. Because when you fit in, you are in a box. When you stand out, you are out of the box. And people who stand out of the box usually become people who create their own circles, who create their own narrative. People who can live freely because they're not in a box. People who think outside the box are the most successful people. You have to think outside the box. Get out of that complacent mindset. Get out of that mindset that tells you that you should keep it more real over here than to keep it more real with God. Because ain't nobody going to be more realer than God to you. And you have to kill your ego. And knowing that, okay, once you go through this process and you're growing, remember to remain, I don't want to say humble, but you have to have a spirit of humility. You got to check that ego, because that ego will get you in trouble. That ego would make you think like you did this all by yourself. That ego would make you think like you don't need God once you arrive and become that person. You forget about it was God that helped you through that. It was God that strengthened you because you ain't do it until you tapped in to God. You didn't do it until you started praying more. You didn't do it until you increased your faith by going to church, by reading his word. But as soon as you arrive and you get the blessing, you forget about God. You forget about, oh, it was him. It was because of God. God put people in my life to mentor me. God put people in my life to speak words over me, to bless me, to encourage me. Don't forget. Don't ever forget. Don't ever forget who helped you when you were down. Don't ever forget. And never toot your nose at people. Because when you arrive and become that person, don't toot your nose at the people who even doubted you, or the people that you had to leave behind because you've outgrown them. You have to check that ego. Remain in a place of humility, because you're no better than anyone. Because you have to understand this. Although you became that person, right? When you switch your identity, in the blink of an eye, imagine you becoming that person and God strips you away from every blessing that you have gotten. And that old you is still on the inside of you. Remember that. You're still the same person. You just unlocked another level. So don't get pushed back to the level that you were before. And I want, when you think about changing your identity, not only to not think about what other people want from you, what do you want from you? But most importantly, what does God want from you? Like when you envision this person that you want to be, don't think only about materialistic things like, I want to live in a big house. I want to be on yachts. I want to be driving the newest Mercedes Benz. I want to have my closet all decked out with designer. Okay, that's all good and dandy, but let's talk about the more important things. Because I know a lot of broken people with that lifestyle, a lot of insecure people with that lifestyle, a lot of medicated people with that lifestyle. The lifestyle is not your identity. So when I speak about switching your identity, if you only think about materialistic things, you're going to be piss poor morally. Especially you being a woman, you can achieve getting that lifestyle by being someone who is, has that Jezebel spirit, someone who's promiscuous, who can be seductive. You can easily seduce someone into giving you that lifestyle. So when I talk about switching your identity, I'm talking about a woman that can attain these things for herself. Not only herself, but I'm talking about a woman who has the spirit to be in the atmosphere for those things to flow naturally. You're surrounded by money because you have a rich spirit, and money is attracted to you in that way. And your rich spirit is the way you carry yourself, the way you treat people, the way you don't hate on people, the way you don't look at other women as competition, the way you look at every woman as a sister, the way you love people without condition. Like they don't owe you nothing. You're not getting anything from them. You're not receiving anything from them. At no cost do you love them. You love them for who they are in spite of. That's who you should want to be. Someone who's at peace with themselves. Someone who has healed from past trauma. Someone who knows who she is in God. You got to kill that ego. Your ego will make you, I don't know why I want to go here, but your ego will make you stay in a relationship or be with someone that is not for you, but you don't want no one else to have him. That's ego, because you feel like you are in possession of someone else. I don't know why I just said that, but yeah, why I went to relationships, but definitely. You cannot keep doing what you want to do and not expect there to be any consequence. So you not being obedient, because once you make up in your mind that you want to become this person, you want to switch your identity, and you confess it out of your mouth, I feel like God hears you, and is an agreement that happens. Like, okay, I'm going to set up certain things in your life so it can push you into becoming that person. As long as you do the necessary work to become that person, it's going to manifest in the natural. But if you keep going backwards, if you keep entertaining the same thing, keep entertaining that man that does not want you, that will never put a title on what y'all have going on. He will never make you into a wife, but you continue to give your body to him. You keep entertaining friendships that are not good for you, and God kept telling you no. You keep going to places where God says it no longer serves you. I don't want you going there. Your disobedience is going to come with a consequence. We cannot think that we can keep sinning and doing the same thing over and over again and there not be any consequence. I don't want people to think God as a punishing God, because he's not. I had to learn that, because going to church, I'm not even going to say church, being in a religious atmosphere or speaking to religious people would make you think that God is a God that punishes you. I feel as if you have a child, right? And you tell that child not to touch the stove. You keep warning them, hey, don't touch the stove. And after a few months, you'll console them. Like if they touch the stove, like, no, I told you not to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. After a while, you're going to just let them touch it and let them get burnt. And you're just going to stand there like, I told you you were going to get burnt. I kept warning you and you kept going to touch it. So I just take my hands off of you and let you learn the lesson by yourself. And the consequence is that child will be burnt. But the goodness of God, his grace is so sufficient. He might save you from getting a 2nd-degree burn, but you're going to get a 1st-degree burn, because that's the consequence of being disobedient. He'll just take his hand off you like, okay, you want to learn this the hard way. I got you. Go ahead. I'm going to let you do you. But I'll still be here when you're ready. Daddy's still going to be here for you. I'm still watching over you, but I see you want to still touch that. You still want to entertain that. And I keep telling you it's going to hurt you. And I keep calling you to a different place. I keep calling you to become this person, but you are so comfortable being that person that I never called you to be, but you let life circumstances draw you and keep you in that low place. And I keep calling you to a higher place, but you don't want to wake up. God is trying to wake you up. That life you want to live, listen, they always say what you want for your life is nothing compared to what God wants to give you. God always wants to exceed our expectations. So if you think about in your mind right now, when you close your eyes, just imagine what kind of person you would be and what kind of life you want to live. And imagine that on steroids. You can't even fathom. You can't even believe it. But it's nothing to God to give it to you. But you don't want to do the work. You want to stay complacent. You want to stay in this low place. God is calling you to a higher place. God has need of you. But you need to switch your identity. And understanding that growing pains is going to be a part of it all. It's not going to be easy. Some days you're going to feel like you don't want to do this. You want to give up. You don't think this is for you. Some days you're going to want to cry. Some days you're probably going to spend all day crying. It's okay. Because I have cried out of nowhere. I have done so much crying. And I know it's because it's shedding off. The old me is shedding off. And it's okay to mourn, because you're mourning someone that is not dead. And you're mourning someone who you have to kill. You have to kill your old ways. Kill it. Because if you suppress it, it's going to come up. So you have to kill it. Kill it with new habits, new routines, and a change mindset. When you create this orbit of newness, your mindset is bound to change. There's no way your mindset can be the same, because it's a different energy that's flowing. And that's how the neural paths work. Like, you're creating something new. Like, okay, I like how this makes me feel. So if I like how this makes me feel, I'm going to want to do this more, because that no longer serves me. And even if you try to go back, you'll feel like, oh, I don't like that. Like, it's just like if you ever went vegan or stopped eating meat, when the day you go back to eating meat, it's just like, ooh, I don't like that no more. It got a different taste. Like, you become so sensitive to the taste, like so, right? It just doesn't taste right. And that's how it would be when you switch your identity and try to go back. You won't even feel comfortable going back. And that's how you know you arrived. That the growing pains is over, because you already outgrew your old self. And you can only go higher to the next level. Trust me, it's good. It's going to benefit you. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. And the growing pain of it all is that it's going to be emotional, because you don't know what you have to lose in order to become that person. Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own path, their own journey when it comes to becoming this new person, this elevated person, this person that God called you to be. Everybody's story is different. But one thing I can say, that everybody loses somebody that they love. And I think since we are relationship beings, that is the part that hurts the most. It hurts more than losing a job, losing money, losing materialistic things. When you lose in a relationship, and sometimes it don't never be nothing. It just be God doing little things, or like things just ain't vibing the way it used to. That is God interrupting what is necessary to be broken in order for him to elevate you. And that's the sad part about it. And mourning what you thought you wanted, because God said, I have better for you. Yeah. Let that go, sis. It ain't even worth it. And mourning what other people wanted from you, knowing that that's not your life, what other people want. You have to know what you want, and you pursue what you want, because you only have one life to live. And you can't be in chains and bondage to someone else's idea of you and what they think you should do in your life. They have their own life to live. Stop allowing people to live through you. Okay? They have their own life. They should pursue it. They should, as much energy that they have to try to dictate things in your life and try to make you pursue certain things and talk down on you or try to tell you to do A, B, and C, they should take that same energy and put into themselves. And sometimes people will give you advice, but they have arrived. Those are the people you could take advice from. You can take the advice from if they have arrived at that space where they're telling you or they're giving you advice about. If they have not arrived, or unless they are also on that journey and they have gained some wisdom, y'all both on the same journey. Okay, I could dig that. But if you still stuck and you trying to hold on, the blind can't lead the blind, honey. No, be careful what you allow into your ear gates, because definitely they plant seeds. And sometimes you don't know how deep the seed is until you reach a point in your life where you feel like everything is tumbling down and you remember what that person said to you. And that seed will be the same seed that makes you want to go back. That same seed that person said, I don't think that was what you were supposed to do. You sure you heard God? And you know for a fact you heard God. You know for a fact all you've been through. And you start questioning yourself and your decisions be based off of that person. And the reason why you question your decisions, because you value that person's opinion, because that person means a lot to you in your life. And it's okay. Like I said, we are relationship beings and we value the people that we allow into our life. But I need you to value yourself more. I need you to value the word of God more over the voices of people in your life. This season is a you season, you and God season. No one else, just a you and God. You don't need anyone on this journey. And whoever God tells you is okay for them to come with you, and you'll know, because they'll respect every boundary that you put up, and they will be encouraging you, and they'll respect it, what you have going on and what you're trying to do, and they'll motivate you. They'll be clapping for you, and they'll support you. And allow people to support you in their own way, okay? Let's get that clear. But for the ones that aren't, the ones that will make you feel guilty for trying to switch your identity, the ones who add pain to your growth, those are the relationships that you have to mourn. And sometimes you may not want to have that conversation. Just pray about it. Ask God to deal with it. Deal with what is hard for you to let go, and he'll help you. Growing pains, man, it's a journey, but a journey worth taking. The pain is bittersweet. I'm going to say that. The pain of growth is bittersweet because, yeah, you're emotional about this change. You don't know what's next. It's unfamiliar. You're not comfortable. But the beauty of it all is you're becoming this person that's going to be so unstoppable. You're breaking chains. Generational cycles are being broken. You don't know who God has assigned to your life that you're going to help, but you have to become that person in order to help them. So you're going to be an ultimate blessing in this world. You're already a blessing, but imagine when you tap in to your higher self. Imagine when you tap in and become more aligned with who God has called you to be. The enemy will be afraid of you. The enemy will have to get some new tricks because ain't nothing else that he tried back then will work because you have been elevated. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Because I'm on this journey and it's not pretty. It's not easy. Ooh, but the faith I feel, that my faith is the only thing keeping me. The faith of the unknown, because I don't know, but I'm embracing it all. And if I have to do it with tears running down my eyes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pursue it because I deserve it. And if I don't do the work, I will never arrive to become her. And I deserve to become her. And if I continue to think about, oh man, I could have been her. I could have been her years ago. I'm not thinking about the past. Don't think about the past, because thinking about the past will rob you of doing what you need to do in the present moment and what you need to do in the present moment to become her. Forget about what passed. That's okay. We gonna get some purpose out of that. There's purpose out of that. Whatever you went through in the past, trust me, purpose is gonna be birthed out and you're gonna be paid for it. Listen, this is gonna be so good. I'm so ready to hear your stories, and don't look at this year as just another year. Be intentional and go through the motions. It's okay. We all going through it. It's a part of it. Embrace it. You got this. I love y'all. And that's a wrap for episode number 5, Growing Pains. It's your girl, Vanessa Elaine, with Comfortably Me. Bye. Love y'all.